I told my husband I didn't need his love. The words slipped out in a storm of anger, frustration, and selfish pride. I never stopped to think about the wound they would leave on him, how they would alter the course of everything between us. And now here I sit, surrounded by a silence that feels too heavy, in a home that feels far too empty, wishing with all my heart that I could take them back. But he's gone, and all I can do now is live with the regret and try to understand why I ever convinced myself that I didn't need him. When we first crossed paths, it felt like magic. That's the only way I can describe it. From the very beginning, we just clicked. His smile, the way he looked at me like I was the only soul in the room. It was like a dream. We laughed together, leaned on each other, and built something truly beautiful. With him, I felt safe, cared for, and deeply loved. For the longest time, I couldn't even imagine life without him. But slowly, something shifted. Looking back, I know now it wasn't his fault. Life just started swallowing us up. Work, routines, endless responsibilities. It all became suffocating. I began to feel restless, unfulfilled. Every time he tried to show me love, I brushed it off. I didn't want to feel tied down. I craved independence, space, the feeling of being in control of my own life again. But in the process, I was pushing him further and further away. He tried so hard. God, he tried. He'd show up with flowers just because, planned dinners to surprise me, remind me constantly of how much he loved and appreciated me. But instead of embracing it, I recoiled. I took his devotion for granted, convincing myself he would always be there, always someone I could lean on. But I never stopped to think about what he needed from me. I was so determined to stand on my own that I began to resent the very love that had once been everything to me, as if I could survive without it. The day I said those words, I wasn't even thinking about their weight. We'd been bickering over little, meaningless things like groceries, chores, and who needed more space. But underneath, there had been tension building for months. He was trying to open up to me, to tell me how he felt, but I was defensive and closed off. Then, in that one careless moment, I snapped, I don't need your love. I can take care of myself. I didn't see how much it crushed him. I didn't realize that by rejecting his love, I was tearing apart the very foundation of what made us a team. At first, he said nothing. He just stared at me, eyes full of hurt, confusion, disbelief. I could see him trying to process what I'd just thrown at him. But he didn't yell. He didn't argue. He simply turned and walked out of the room. That night, I half expected him to return, to say something, anything that might glue the cracks back together. But he didn't. He stayed in the guest room. Days passed, and we barely exchanged words. I kept pretending things would return to normal, but in my heart, I knew something had broken. And this time I could mend it. He never mentioned that fight again. He never repeated my words back to me. But slowly his love retreated. The flowers stopped. The little surprises stopped. The conversations about our future disappeared. At the time, I didn't recognize it, but he was withdrawing, not out of lack of love, but to shield himself from the pain I'd caused. Months later, it finally hit me. He wasn't the man he used to be, and I wasn't the same woman either. The way he looked at me had changed. His eyes, once full of warmth, now carried a quiet sadness. He stopped sharing his day with me, stopped letting me in, and I realized too late that I had pushed him away with my own words, and now he had built walls I could no longer break through. The day he finally told me he was leaving, my heart sank to the floor. He said we weren't the same anymore, that too much had changed. He admitted he still loved me, but love couldn't survive if it wasn't returned. That was the moment I understood. The love I thought I could live without was the very thing I needed most. Now, in this empty house, I see everything I overlooked. The way he always made sure my coffee was full, how he laughed at my worst jokes, how he instinctively knew when I needed a hug. I see it all now, and I ache for it. I ache for him. I've reached out, but it's too late. He's moved on, and I can't even blame him. I was the one who shattered what we had. I was the one who threw away something perfect, believing I didn't need it. So here I am, a woman who once had it all, but lost it in a single moment of pride. If you have someone who loves you, truly loves you, don't push them away. Don't make the same mistake I did. Because once they stop fighting for you, Once they're really gone, there's no going back. I told my husband I didn't need his love, and now he's gone. All that's left is regret, a broken heart, and the brutal truth: when love is lost, it's not so easy to win back.